I'd like to kick off by asking, why did you study BS biology? Why choose that field?
Yeah, so I, since I was young, my parents would like me to become a medical doctor. So as young as I was, like before kindergarten, I had microscope as my toy. So inside my heart, I wanted to always study higher studies. No, so in my mind, it was more of medical doctor. In the Philippine culture. Yes, did I answer you?
Yes,
Yes.
but I do know that your father is an engineer, right?
Yes.
Why not physics? Why not? Sorry.
So my father was the civil engineer of the Southern Leyte, and he became the provincial engineer of the entire Southern Leyte. And at the end of my classes, and also my mother was a teacher in teaching English as a second language. So after dinner, they always ask us to do our homework. So all of us children would be tutored. My mom on English, my dad on math, algebra, trigonometry, physics. So that's actually how I grew up in terms of the love for study. So why not physics? So I dread the physics actually because of the calculations. But so that's why my father would always teach me, oh, what is velocity? What is this? What is this? So I had 2 hours session with my father every time he was in town, because sometimes he would be away for all the constructions of the infrastructure projects. So take note that in the entire Southern Leyte, it's actually cemented because of my father. So sometimes he was away, but at the end of the class, he was always like, what is physics? But I don't like physics really. But when it comes to biology, I love it, you said.
All right. But is it true that did you teach immediately after your undergraduate degree?
Yeah, so after my BS biology degree in the Department of Biology in the University of San Carlos, I was asked to teach part-time. No? At the same time, I was the curator at the entomological collection, because at the time I was intrigued about the mosquitoes, simply because maybe I was influenced by the professor, the late Enrique Schoenig. He was a German SVD priest, and at that time he was a professor in medical entomology. So I was part-time teaching at the age of 22 or maybe 20 or 21. And I was also doing curating job at the entomological collection. At the time, to be a bachelor's degree holder, it was okay to teach at the undergraduate level. But first, the entry point was teaching the laboratory class. So it's not giving a lecture first.
And that's only given to honor students, right?
Probably, yes. Yes.
But you did pursue graduate studies.
Yes.
You did your master's in Japan. Later, you did it in the U.S. So, can you tell us something about this journey of yours?
Yeah. So because of that inner fire, oh, there we go. The inner fire in me to go into higher studies. So the influence of my parents to study medicine, I discovered that when I took up cat anatomy, third year class, and at the time there was no ayakuk. So we had to strangle the cat and to study the cat. When I struggled, I struggled a lot, no? And many blood would come out. And that's when I discovered, as young as maybe 18 years old, I discovered that I cannot handle between life and death when I see a blood. And that was a very striking in me as I grew up. Like at the time, I was like 16, 17, 18 now, when third year. So I talked to my father that I cannot be a medical doctor. And he was quiet for like one semester. And later on, he accepted that it is against my will. No? So he did not force me, but he supported what I wanted.
Okay, so for masters, you needed a scholarship to do that. What was your scholarship?
Yeah, so Monbusho Scholarship in Japan. I studied endocrinology. So I isolated some hormone, which is calcitonin, from a newt amphibian calcitonin is in charge of regulating the calcium level in the blood. At the time, when you are very young, at like 22, you try your best. So the determining factor in your heart, what would be the classes in the undergrad that you excelled at the same time you also like? It's more than an academic requirement, but you love what you are studying. So at the time, also being very practical, so Monbusho scholarship was the one offered by the late Dr. Batomalake. At the time was the chairman, and he was also in charge of the Monbusho scholarship here in San Carlos. I was just making use of what the opportunities could offer to me, and also I studied that.
Okay, so you finished your master's degree. You came back to USC?
Yes, so before defending my master thesis in USC, my sensei in Japan offered me a PhD scholarship in Tokyo University. But in my heart, I said that, I have to be true to myself, no? So I have to be true to myself. So I wanted to explore the American system of education, maybe because I was influenced by my sister-in-law. At the time, she was studying biostatistics at the University of California, Los Angeles. So I turned down Tokyo University, and all the Japanese classmates said, "Hey, Suna." They cannot believe why I had to
did I
turn
hear
down.
that you turned down Tokyo University?
Yes. They could not believe that I had to return to the Philippines. But however, when I returned, I was looking for a scholarship because prior to my defense, I went to USLA in 1 December. And so my sister-in-law ushered me to go to USLA. When I landed the first steps on USLA, I felt that this is my destiny. I really felt it very strongly. So when I returned in USC, I have to look for a Fulbright scholarship. I went to downtown campus.
Right, from Monbusho to Fulbright. These are prestigious grants. Right?
I know, it's very hard to get. So I had to prepare the criteria in receiving the Fulbright. So I had to work for whatever that was required in the criteria to be accepted. So in less than 2 years, I applied because I was ready. So when I applied, we were 60 plus applicants in the entire country. I was called for an interview. We were 30 to be called for interview, or 20 plus, and I was number 2. Only 2 students, only 2 for doctoral scholarship, and the rest, like 9 of us were selected. So only 2, the chairman of physics in Ateneo Manila, the first, and USC, myself, full for PhD. I was so overjoyed. Yes.
Yeah. Earlier, I heard of vector because I'm a physics person. For us, it's a mathematical quantity that has magnitude and direction. So, what is vectors? What are vectors for biologists?
Yes, so vectors in biology terms, these are carriers. Now, in physics, it's from point A to point B. We don't do that. Sorry, Sir Mel. So it's a carrier. So vector biology, so these are carriers, different living forms that carry certain things that cause, like pathogens. So these are vectors that carry pathogens that can cause human diseases. So that's why I studied vector biology. And because I was inspired by Father Enrique Schoenig, who was in the department here in biology department, USC. At the time, he is very holy, at the same time a scientist. No? So he studied Aedes aegypti, which is the primary dengue mosquito vector, genetics in Notre Dame University. So that's why I was led by Father Schoenig. I did not know that he left the oil or the lana to me. And so anyway, that was it. So I love vector biology, but maybe first I was inspired by Father Schoenig.
This was during your PhD, but this did not stop you. You still went for postdoc.
I know.
Right?
I know. So what's your question?
No. What did you do? Why go for a postdoc? Why not come back right away?
Right, yes. In the American educational system, PhD is not enough if one wants to be an academic. So in my doctoral years, my topic was about the population biology and genetics of malaria mosquitoes, Anopheles gambiae. So I had to study a certain village in Mali, West Africa. At the time, my professor in USLA had big project, and I was part of his program.
UCLA for your PhD, but for your
In
postdoc, where did you do your postdoc?
At Harvard School of Public Health.
Harvard.
Yeah, so I actually, 6 months before my oral defense, I read an article in Science, and then I said, oh, there's somebody, a professor working in Anopheles gambiae at Harvard. So I said, who am I to go there? No. So, but when I read that scientific article, something in my heart just struck me like a thunder. So I spoke to one of my panel members, no, and he said he was a parasitologist at USLA. Francis, I know Dr. Andy Spielman. I have his email address. I said, oh, I was so scared. So I tried to email him, but in a split of few minutes, he replied. I felt there was a positive energy in his reply. So I said, but he said that I have to wait for like a few months for the grant to be approved. But he already knew me during my doctoral years because every year I had to present whatever my data that I could gather in my doctoral thesis in the international conference like the American Society for Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. So he recognized already me in that regard. So he was very happy that I could join his team, except that I have to wait for the grant to be approved.
Yes, so you turned down Tokyo University, went to for postdoc in Harvard. Why did you come back to USC?
Oh, that's right.
What brought you back?
I say, so for Filipinos, there is a brain drain. I do not judge people who go to US, okay, forever, whatever personal reasons. But being a Fulbright scholar, there is a commitment to return to the country of origin for at least 2 years, because the program of Fulbright is to have that knowledge transfer from the US to the country of origin. I could not, I don't want to be blacklisted, you know? Like there is a big conscience in me that if I choose wealth, I would not be happy. If I choose whatever legal things that I could do and waive that return service, it's possible. But in my conscience, I cannot. No, because I have seen many people in Mali, West Africa, who died of malaria. The statistics was, at the time, 1 child out of 10 children would die of malaria. So seeing that impact the community in terms of studying the mosquitoes and in terms of the death, the mortality that mosquito-borne diseases, malaria would cause, I felt like there is something that I should do that also to my country.
Okay, so we are all itching to hear your talk, but I have one last question.
Sige.
You came back and you're still here.
Oh.
So what inspires you to do your research here and stay in USC?
Yeah, so it's really the same, no? So remember Father Schoenig at let's say very young, at 17, I saw him in the department. Wow, there is a combination of science and faith embodied in himself, no? So he really inspired me all the way that I should be already, I have enough blessings that I received that it's about time now to activate and to return back to my country and also to fulfill the program of Fulbright to really help my country. So what drives me really is there is the ciencia, that means the thirst for knowledge, and the virtues that I could probably influence my students in the field of education and research. And through publication, I could be transferring the basic research into the target audience. That means it may be the academics, it may be the students working on their thesis, it may be on the field of health, Department of Health, it may be some publications, something like that, but it can also be translated into something that it can be communicated in a laymanized way in which the poor people who are affected of dengue in the Philippines would also take advantage of what we can share to them to prevent having dengue. No? So that really drives me a lot. No? So education is very my passion, being influenced by my mother. And my father is more into the analysis. No, I'm very good in the analysis, thanks God, but not really physics, but more into the genetic analysis that could understand the mosquitoes of different species. So the impact to the community is really like when I see the dying people, when I saw the dying people in Mali, West Africa, there is something that is beyond science. When I see many people, especially the poor people in the Philippines, dying of dengue or sick of dengue, my heart just bleeds every time. And there is that kind of fire, how I could translate the basic research, ciencia, into devotio, which is to share it to the community and not just the academic community.
Okay, thank you.
Time na?
One last
Oh,
one.
I thought one last question
Okay.
na. Another
Second.
last question, sige.
I'm curious. Did you have to learn French when you went to Africa?
Yeah. Oh, actually, not French, because I had to learn Bambara. Bambara is
local language?
the local language, but Mali, West Africa was colonized by French. They are very French-speaking people. But they also have the Bambara ethnic language. So prior to going there, I had to study the crash course at USA. There was a Malian Fulbright student, doctoral student also, who was hired to teach crash course. So I enrolled to study the Bambara culture, the Bambara dialect.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much.
I will tell you, in Isogoma, Umba Inse, this is actually good morning, everyone. No?
Okay.
In Bambara.
Thank you very much, Francis.